Hi, this is Noma Dimitri, and today we're gonna make applesauce or apple butter. I'm gonna show you how to do both of them, but of course, the first thing to do is get some apples, and for that, we need the tree, which we have right here, and a crate, and we're ready to collect. We're now in the kitchen with our crate of beautiful apples and we're ready to turn them into sauce. And this, you should know, it's one of the easiest things possible. It's a very, very easy fail-safe operation, so don't be stressed at all. Of course, the first thing you do is you want to wash these guys a little bit. So you put them in a basin full of water and you just let them float a little bit. You don't have to be very paranoid about washing them too much because they're going to cook for a long time, so whatever is stuck on them that may be dangerous to you is going to die. Once they're nice and washed, you let them dry slightly. It doesn't matter if they're wet, you don't need to wipe them. And then the next step, of course, is to quarter them. You quarter them with your nice big Japanese knife like this. You turn them into quarters. Once they're quartered, you core them. That means you just take out the nasty little seeds and the center, the hard center, and then you have quarters of apples. Once you have quarters of apples, in a very, very, very kind of haphazard way, without worrying about size or anything, you chop them. You chop them like this. These are the chopped apples, okay? You see the sizes are random. It doesn't really matter. You don't have to be precise. You just take your knife and chop them down. And once you chop them down, you're ready to put them in your pot. Your pot is better if it's a heavy one. Heavy pots are always better than light aluminum ones. And I have a nice French heavy one like that, a stock pot, whatever you want to call it. And they're in there. So this is what they look like. Okay, these are our apples. They're cooking down right now. They're on low heat. You can put them anywhere between medium and low heat. And they're beginning to disintegrate, okay? They're turning into something that looks like a mashed potato mush. They do this all on their own. You just stick them in the warmed pot and they will start, the heat will make them leak water and effectively they will cook in their own water. The only little warning that you need in this particular stage is that as you boil them down, that means as you let the humidity escape from the apple, and therefore the apple falls apart completely and turns into a sauce. As this step occurs, you should make sure that it's never so dry that it gets stuck on the bottom of your pot, of course. If you see that happening, you must reduce the heat and add some water. But other than that, there's nothing to do. So the apples that you saw over there will reduce. They will turn more and more into a sauce. At that point, you have two different paths to take. One of them is applesauce. In the applesauce, you just take the thing out and it's either destroyed enough and to your taste, if you like chunky applesauce, and if you like more smooth applesauce, then you can put it through a food mill. That would also allow you to take most of the skins out if you don't like skins. If you like a smoother applesauce, then you can just put it in the blender instead, which is of course easier. Most people believe that a food mill actually produces an applesauce with better texture. The way I'm going to go today is actually not at all towards applesauce. I like something much richer, which is apple butter. What happens is when the applesauce is ready, and you know when it's ready because it's right there, you taste it, and if it's good for you, you're done, okay? It's going to take about 20 minutes of cooking the apples. Once you get to the applesauce, then you can continue boiling it down, boiling the applesauce down. And if you boil it down even more, so it becomes actually more, much more destroyed, the apples get cooked much more, they start to mildly caramelize. And that creates a much richer apple sauce, which is usually called apple butter. At some point, how do you deal with the skins? You can, of course, have taken the skins from the very start. If you take off the skins from the very start, you don't have to deal with the skin problem at all. I am really bored to take the skins of all these apples. It really, really bores me to death. So I don't do it. Instead, I do the lazy way. Once I get to the level of the applesauce, I put an immersion blender. I don't know if you know what that is. An immersion blender is this thing.
It's something that you stick into the cooking pot, so you don't even need to transfer it to a mixer bowl. You put it in the pot, and then it just basically annihilates totally the sauce, and it turns into a smooth puree that eventually, by cooking it down gently and slowly, you will get the final apple butter, and the skins through this and through the cooking will dissolve completely into this luxurious caramel colored delicious sauce, butter, apple butter. This apple butter then you can just consume directly, or if you make a hell of a lot like I am in the process of doing, you can put it into sterilized jars and save it and eat it through the winter. So that is one of the easiest and laziest morning breakfast materials you can ever make, apple butter or apple sauce. And if you don't have an apple tree, you can just go and buy them in your nearby grocery store. Prefer always organic. Noma Dimitri, take care.